CharityWatch now rates Undue Medical Debt, formerly known as R.I.P. Medical Debt. The legal name of this organization is actually Medical Debt Resolution. It did have a doing business as name of R.I.P. Medical Debt, which is now Undue Medical Debt. That was a fairly recent change. So, we've gotten a lot of requests for rating of this organization, and part of the reason it took a little time for us to finalize it is that, we analyzed the audited financial statements and the tax filings of this organization. We wanted to make sure we understood things like how was the debt being valued? Were there fundraising costs that were being included in the reporting of program expenses? That's something that happens pretty often with charities. And when we rate a charity for the first time, we often rate the organization with questions. Not every time, but often we do, because we want to really understand the financial reporting. Because what you see is not always what you get. If you followed CharityWatch, you know that better than anyone. We're warning donors all the time. What charities report in the boxes on their tax filings is not always as it appears. There's often a lot of fundraising costs that charities claim are programs. There's often in-kind goods that are flowing through the books that skew how efficiently the cash is being used. So for that reason, we wanted to just really make sure that we understood how efficiently this organization was operating before we finalized the rating and published it. So I'm happy to say that rating is now live. We analyzed the finances based on their fiscal year ended 2023, which is the most current one available at this time. So what did we find? Well, after we made all of our adjustments, finished our analysis, we found that this charity spends about 81% of its cash expenses on legitimate program expenses. And that it costs the charity about $8 for each $100 that it raises in public support. So that's pretty good. So for financial efficiency, the charity gets an A grade, right, for 2023. If you're watching this video years later, the grade could be very different. So make sure that you pay attention to what year that this video is made. However, we did downgrade the charity's rating to a C+. For those donors who agree with us that sometimes if a charity already has more money than it can spend, that might not be the best charity to donate to right now. Now, that is certainly your decision as a donor. If you think that, hey, this charity has a lot of available assets, I still want to give for the future, that is entirely up to you. It's our position that there's a lot of immediate needs that aren't being met. And so if a charity already has more than it can spend, might not be the charity to support right now. But again, that's up to you as a donor. What we found is based on 2023 spending, that this charity could continue to operate for 4.1 years at 2023 spending levels without raising another penny. Now, when we compute that, those years of available assets, we don't include land, building, and equipment, fixed assets that the charity can't use, right? We don't include permanently restricted net assets that are legally prevented by the donor themselves from, the charity using them. So we take those out of there. So when we give you this final figure of 4.1 years, it doesn't include all those things that the charity can't reasonably spend. Those are already subtracted out. So what we're saying is that this charity at 2023 spending levels could continue to exist or spend at those levels for 4.1 years without raising any more money. In addition, and this is certainly a good thing because, gosh, in the news right now, medical debt is absolutely, and healthcare is definitely a big news item at this particular moment. We all know why that is. So Mackenzie Scott has been a huge supporter of this organization, and I think that's a good thing. This is an extremely important cause. A lot of people go bankrupt from medical debt. You pass out, you get sent to the wrong hospital, you might have to go bankrupt. It's not a very good system. In 2020, Mackenzie Scott, the philanthropist, I think all of us know who Mackenzie Scott is, she gave a $50 million grant in 2020, another $30 million in 2022. And most recently, just a few weeks ago, a rare third gift of $50 million. So if my math skills are up to par, that's 130 million over the past several years that she's donated to this organization. So they're pretty well funded as of now, but as most of us know, medical debt is just, I mean, collectively in aggregate for the whole country is pretty outrageous. So I wouldn't be surprised if they could reasonably blow through a lot of that money pretty quickly. So it's certainly a worthy cause to support. Again, you just have to keep in mind, is this charity the one you want to support considering how many assets they've already got? That's entirely up to you as the donor to decide. I'm going to put a link in the comments directly to this charity's rating information on CharityWatch.org. You can also just come to our site, CharityWatch.org, and search for Undue Medical Debt. Look at the information that way. We did notice some other things in the audited financial statements. They have like a relatively minor related party transaction, family business relationships, a fairly minor one considering the size of the org, but we have some other qualitative information for you about that information, the charity's governance and transparency, and that sort of thing. So please come again to CharityWatch.org to view our full report on R.I.P. medical debt, now Undue Medical Debt. Thanks everyone, and I hope this is helpful. My name is Laurie Styron. I am the CEO and Executive Director of Charity Watch. Thanks again.